All right. Are we live? I think we're good to go. Thanks everybody for tuning into another episode of the Neutral News Network. I'm Brian alongside Jake and Zach today. We have a full crew and we are on time. Is it Friday the 13th? Because it sure fucking feels like it. Because we've managed to get the whole gang here for an episode and we're again, we're covering some very happy topics, very good news. Everybody's excited. We're having a good time.
Jeez.
So, right. Every day is another unprecedented event, right? We've only lived through about 30 of those in the last 26 days. So what's another one?
Yeah, more
Um,
than most people will have in their lifetime.
yeah, but I feel like, and Zachary, feel free to chime in, but I feel like individuals our age have said that every year for the past like 10 years.
Yeah, it's
One
very
of these
true.
years, it will actually be done. We'll be done living through the historical events. Just not this year.
I is it because we'll be dead or is it because nothing will happen?
Hey, whatever you want, honestly.
Okay, whatever I want. Oh, world peace. Yeah, that ain't happening anytime soon. But anyways, all right. So, uh, for those watching and for those new, we usually go to wonderful ground news to kick off our stream, and we're going to cover some three key pieces about the U.S. economy today and kind of how those are playing out. And I just want to go ahead and mention that, we're not sponsored by Ground News or anything like that, but we absolutely love the platform and we more than recommend you check that out if you haven't already. It's a great news aggregator, and honestly, I think it is one of the most underrated platforms out there in regards to just getting your news. So, without further ado, the first article is Dana White says UFC is hosting first ever White House fight on July 4th.
Does that mean it's at the White House, or does that mean?
Yes, it will be at the White House. Um, and I believe this has already been verbally confirmed by the president. So obviously nothing is on the books yet because that is almost a year away. And so we'll see how that eventually transpires. But regardless of what you may think about this event, I mean, it just goes to show you that there's many barriers that have been kind of broken down around the White House, and I'm sure more will come. And I mean, this, all things considered, is probably one of the least harmful things. I mean, is it kind of weird that they're having UFC fight at the White House? Yes. Is it totally unfathomable or kind of a terrible thing? I wouldn't say so. But it'll be interesting to see kind of if this event, obviously we have to wait about a year to see the results of this, but it'll be interesting to see if it actually does come to fruition. Next, and we'll kind of get into this section here a little bit later in the episode. But the Fed is seen as going to cut in September on the next interest rate decision. As many of you know, or many of you may not know, the Fed did not choose to raise or lower rates at the last meeting. There's been kind of rumors spreading around that the Fed was going to cut. And obviously, with all of the tariff uncertainty, the Fed has opted to not do that. However, inflation data came out very recently that showed that tariffs aren't making an impact yet. Um, so that'll be interesting to see as to why that is. Um, I have an opinion. I'll actually weigh in on it, but I want you guys to give me your 2 cents on why you don't think the tariffs have kicked in quite yet before we go on to the next one.
Oh, like right now?
Yeah, right now, right now. I just
So
want like very quick.
I have two kind of possibilities. Uh, Number one is the majority of the ones that are like high impact have been paused, delayed, raised, lowered.
Mhm.
They've been kind of all over the place while negotiations are ongoing. Number two, and maybe the bigger one, is we are just now kind of getting to the point where we are using up the supply of stuff that's already been in the country. So the materials that we are importing that will be subject to the tariffs are just now coming into inventory. So the prices haven't had to go up yet because we haven't used that stock yet. But now that is coming to an end for a lot of materials.
I, I want to say that that is such a kick-ass answer. Like
I,
that is
that is a
that is
good
one of the
answer.
yeah, I was about to say that is one of the answers that people just would not give 9 times out of 10. That is such a good point because as soon as you said that, I was like, oh shit, that's right. Like I had that light bulb moment because I wasn't even thinking that when I initially posed this question. But as soon as you said that, I'm like, dude, that that makes a lot of sense.
And
So
I was thinking more along the lines of the delays, but I also think they're purposely gonna just keep delaying and keep delaying to make some sort of point to
yeah,
this.
it's the
It's a
posturing,
power.
right?
Yeah, it's posturing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just that continuation of the posturing that just kind of is like keeping like well and I think we've covered this in previous episodes, off that posturing point. It's just like these companies, some of them just don't know what the hell to do. Like they're just like what
Right. They're scrambling. Yeah.
right. It's like do we raise prices? Do we not raise prices? Like is it going to get paused again? Because if it's going to get paused again, then we're not going to raise prices because we don't want to throw off our consumers. We want to
Yeah,
wait
but
as
then they
long as
but as a
possible.
yeah, but then as a company you have to sit there and be like, well, I got a plan for it to happen too. If I
Right.
don't know when it's going to happen, what the heck am I supposed to do?
Uh put your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, that
It's a
honestly
lot of
perfect.
A lot of
And
companies, and it's weird because I go into companies a lot of the time for work,
mhm.
and it's more industrial, so I'm dealing with like parts and pieces from overseas. And some companies are fine, some companies are struggling, some companies are doing better. It's kind of all over the place.
See, and that's like I kind of playing off that backlog like point that Zachary brought up. Like, I'm wondering if, because if you think about it, a lot of people have said that it's the mom and Jake, quiet, says
Am I
Cole.
too quiet?
No, no, you're unless you're
You're
coming in quiet on the stream.
Yeah, I think you're a little quiet
Oh,
compared to
okay.
normal anyway.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
know why. Could be some setting that got changed when
I
I
think I
moved.
can maybe manually turn you
just
up anyway.
just blare him. um, but yeah, I think like that's the thing is that a lot of the tariff impact that I've seen so far, and I'll wrap this up quick, and we'll get to the last point, and then we'll get into our main story for today. But I think a lot of the things with the tariffs that you're bringing up, Jake, kind of makes he is quiet. Okay, Cole said he's quiet.
Okay.
Um, but I think the main thing is just like that these big impacts that we've seen have been primarily on the smaller companies that just don't have the capacity to hold backlog or hold equipment and supplies that you're like what Zachary's talking about. The fact that, your mom and pop bagel shop, if they're importing their, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out there. If they're importing their cups from you know, Taiwan, right?
Hmm.
If they can only afford a 1 month supply, then and these tariffs have been elevated for a month, then obviously they're going to have to squeeze and pay more. But if you've got a company like Starbucks who buys the same cups from Taiwan and they have a 3-year supply, then they don't care. So,
Yeah.
but
I mean, yeah, Starbucks is a different story too, though.
right,
But yeah, that's a fair point.
cool. Hopefully you are now louder. Fingers crossed.
I can go up
Um,
more if not.
just send them to the moon. Um, All right, and then the last article there, Brazil's Lula, who's the president slash prime minister of Brazil. Not sure what his official title is off the top of my head.
Prime
Announces a
President.
five, the prime president. Hell yeah. Um, he announces a $5.5 billion or billion, probably whatever their currency is there. Man, off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
That says
Uh,
dollars.
Well, yes, the sign is in dollars, so maybe it is in USD. And credits for exporters hit by U.S. tariffs. So obviously they're feeling the impact in Brazil, and they're going to try and maintain their businesses afloat by putting some cash into the market, which inherently will be inflationary in the long run. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I know that the foreign currency markets probably are going to go nuts when tariffs really start to wreck inflation on the United States, if they ever do. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye out on as time moves forward. All right. So going into our main story, what a story it is. Well, before we go into an article, um, the federal takeover of DC. Um,
And
what are
I'm going to preface with like I know virtually nothing of this. I don't have social media. So
okay?
I haven't seen anything, and I've been busy doing moving stuff, so I haven't even been on my phone like a lot. So
Gotcha.
this is like really my first. I learned about it earlier today, but this is like
Okay.
my first dive into it.
So I guess just a bird's eye view of the scenario at hand is Donald Trump has basically declared that the um, city of DC is crime ridden. Um, it's kind of lawless,
Right.
and he's made the claims that the crime rates are through the roof. This, that, and the other. So on August 11th, he made the choice to federalize the police force and mobilize the National Guard to Washington, D.C. Which now, even as the
And is
mayor
this to
of D.
take
Oh, go ahead.
over like is this to take over police duties?
Yes, so the federal government is now in control of the DC Metropolitan Police, not just the Capitol Police
Okay.
anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Interesting.
so there you go. So basically, you're seeing on screen now, you know, as a uh, yeah, it's a solemn duty to protect the law-abiding citizens. So this is the executive order, correct, Zachary?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so saying that they've lost control of public order and safety, um, and saying two embassy staffers who were murdered in May, congressional intern who was fatally shot in June, and a administration staffer who was mercilessly beaten by a violent mob days ago. Which I believe, and this is not a joke, I believe that staffer's name or nickname is Big Balls. I believe that's been going through
What?
the yeah, that's his nickname in the administration is Big Balls. I believe he's 19 or 20 years old or something like that. He's a very young individual who works on the staff. Um, but yeah, so he's basically claimed, his authority under the Constitution to mobilize the District of Columbia National Guard, and he, I believe, and we'll probably find an article on this later, but I believe he's going to go to Congress to try and get that mobilization to last longer. He's going to try and extend his control of DC. So, this all begs the question, um, why? And now I know he stated earlier in this executive order, why he did this. It was because of the two embassy individuals being murdered, the person getting shot by the White House, the individual being assaulted. Um, but you know, if he's citing solely the crime statistics in DC have actually been improving, especially from last year to this year. But I believe they've been improving for years now. Are they high? Absolutely. DC has always had an issue with high
Yeah.
crime per capita, but it's
Right.
also a very expensive city. It does have a large homeless population. I actually was there earlier this year, and there are definitely portions of DC which suffer from the fact that there's not affordable housing there. I mean, uh,
It's
I've
very
seen,
expensive.
yeah, and I mean, I've seen jobs there, um, that for what I do for work in my spare time, because this is my full time job here running this podcast. um, that's actually Zachary's full time job. Kidding, but um, the fact that like a well paying job in my field wouldn't even afford me a basic apartment in DC is kind of crazy.
That is
And
crazy.
and the thing is that that's what they're offering there. I mean, they're offering 70 to $80,000 to do my job, and I don't think like people might think, oh, 70, $80,000, that's a lot of money. Not in DC. Not in DC. That's a lot of
No,
money in
it's
suburban Ohio, sure.
not in California either.
Right. But at least California offers you like $110,000 to do my job. So,
Right,
but
but that's like the cost of living out there.
mhm. I mean, at my former employment, I actually know that my boss, he lived in Richmond and commuted up to DC via Amtrak. Like that's what he
Yeah.
did to save money. So
I
a
mean,
a
yeah.
lot of people don't live in the city. I mean, hell, even your congressmen and women don't live in the city. I mean, in reality, a lot of them just fly in and fly out, which I get it because they actually represent their districts. But like the fact that like they just can't even afford to live in DC. Like especially if they're a junior congressman or woman like that just got into DC, they can't afford to live there. It's kind of
That's
crazy
kind of
when you really
wild,
think of
yeah.
yeah. So and I mean, even if you like, it's getting to the point now, like genuinely, like if you really think about it, the fact that the president's $400,000 salary, which they're guaranteed every year, is gonna eventually get to the point where like that's not enough money, you know,
Which
but
is crazy because that's the president.
of the United States, right?
Yeah.
But anyways,
Wow.
so yeah, I guess I'll ask the question. So why do you think he's doing it?
You could go back to posturing.
Okay, posturing. Yep.
And if something pops off in DC, he's already got the military there just waiting to be like,
I would.
aha.
Mhm.
It's the guy he's waiting for his gotcha moment.
That is true. I think he is kind of setting up for like a gotcha moment, like to be like, "Hey, we stopped this from happening. We stopped this from going on." But it'll
I don't
be
know.
interesting.
That's just
Yeah.
speculation. I don't know.
Oh, right. This portion is speculation right here. This is all speculation.
I don't know what the because if the crime my thought is if you're really trying to crack down on crime, why not give the police force the resources to do that?
Well, so he's going to say that, they've got the resources, but they're using them negligently. Like they're just not doing enough.
But if the crime rates, then you have to look at the statistics.
Right, which actually I have some statistics if you guys would like
Yeah.
to see some of them. So let me get my screen
Yeah,
pulled
because
up here.
I don't want to speak out two sides of my mouth.
Let's see here. All right. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, I don't want to say the
I
wrong thing, but
see it. Let me get it in here.
Perfect.
This one. This one. And then this one. And now we have
All right, just let me know when it is good to go. Because yeah, this I've got the two articles ready to go.
should be good.
Perfect. They're both from govfacts.org. So right here, on August 11th, President Donald Trump announced an unprecedented federal takeover of the Washington D.C. Metropolitan Police Department and deployed the National Guard. And he called it Liberation Day in D.C., which he's now used multiple Liberation Days, so he's liberating everybody. Um, but yeah, it was
He's
just
the great liberator.
the Great Liberator. That's what they're gonna put on his plaque. Um, but yeah, the administration described crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor in the nation's capital. Um, and basically, obviously, everything kind of spiraled out of that. And he's claiming the emergency power, which I believe even the mayor of DC said that this move wasn't totally unprecedented. So I think that is something to consider. Is just like this
Have
isn't good.
have any other presidents done this in the past?
That's a good question. I'll Google it. That is any other president taken over DC's peace? Um, so according to USA Today, the short answer is yes and yes. And that's in regards to um, the National Guard and the police force.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not unprecedented.
Yes. Here's how the USA headline or first paragraph of the USA Today article goes. Can President Donald Trump legally send National Guard troops into Washington and seize control of the district's police force? The short answers are yes and yes. So there you go.
Yeah.
But he can do it for up to 30 days during an emergency without congressional approval. However, if he needs more than 30 days, he has to go for congressional approval, which he is going to go for, and he has already said that he believes he will get. And I honestly don't see why he wouldn't, unless
So
Congress
what is it?
decides to.
What is his rationale then? Like this is a crisis. This is an emergency.
This is an emergency, yes,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Like
So
what makes this an emergency?
Because he
he's
said so.
saying correct. It's quite literally because he's saying that um, this is justified as a response to what the administration described as crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor in the nation's capital. It's literally yeah. So it declares a crime emergency in the District of Columbia.
Okay, I could point to I could point to like 50 other locations where this is happening too. Like
Correct,
probably pick more than 50.
but he has direct federal control of the National Guard in DC. So
There's
and I mean
no other agenda. This is like genuinely what he believes?
This is well, there's no public agenda, and we could speculate, like I said earlier, on what the actual agenda is and what he intends to do or doesn't intend to do.
Yeah.
Um, but
I mean,
there,
I'm not saying like this is like necessarily a bad thing that what he's doing. I'm just worried that
right. I mean, I don't think any of us would disagree. Like if this was being done in good faith to try and fix some of the problems that are
and
in
the
the Capitol
statistics were there for it to work.
to back it up, right? But
Yeah.
now, and I believe it goes into that a little bit down here. So because actually this is a really cool page. I just want to point out like this gov facts right here. The federal action, command structure changes, military and federal deployment, administration's rationale. This, to be quite honest with you, it might all be AI generated, but I like how it's all kind of laid out right here. But if we go down, so the city's rebuttal. So um, the 2024 Department of Justice report found that violent crime in DC had fallen 35% since 2023, returning to a downward trend that puts the city's violent crime rate at its lowest point in 30 years. And there was a continued decline in 2025, with sharp declines in homicides, carjackings, and assaults with a dangerous weapon. So, you know, the facts, yeah, like so here you go. Overall violent crime, administration's claim, down. Homicides, highest ever, higher than Bottega or Bogota. Sorry, Bottega. Jesus Christ, down 32% since 2023. Armed carjackings more than tripled. Not true. Assaults, dangerous weapons, part of rampage by mobs of wild youth. So like, eh, and it just, I mean, that's been the thing with this administration. That's been the thing with this administration from 2016 to 2020. They just lie. That's a fact. The fact is they lie. Like that's very much
And
how
it's not
they
just this administration. All administrations will lie.
correct, but this administration quite literally is the most prolific of the liars.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. Like it's one thing for it's one thing for George Bush to be like, you know, victory, mission accomplished. It's another thing for Trump to be like, the murder rates, they're 3 times higher than they were 2 years ago, even though they're 50% lower. That's why I'm dropping drug prices by 5,000%. That's not how percents work. Just for everybody in the chat who wants to know, you can't drop the price of
Yeah,
something by 5,000%.
I was gonna
So,
say like it's he speaks in a way that sounds good to people.
correct. I mean, well, it's the way he commands that cult of personality, that audience, and just the way that he can make these outlandish claims and people still believe them.
Well,
Um,
it's like the one stat. It's like 49% of Republicans are happy or unhappy versus or happy versus the 47% of liberals are whatever unhappy. And
you lost me there. So,
it's like having to, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's basically like spinning the numbers to where it makes one side look better than the other.
oh, so like 49%
You're
of
getting you're I forget what the term is called, but you're giving statistics based on, they could be real statistics, but you're not giving it for both sides. Like, so if 51% is happy on the liberal side, 49% is
oh, so you're giving the
unhappy.
negative side of
You're
the
getting the
statistic, and
negatives.
yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's fair because like you could say 30% of Republicans are unhappy with Trump and try and claim that as like a diss or a win. It really depends on what side you're
Right.
on. But yeah,
Depend.
there's still
Yeah. Right.
70% who do like him. That's the same thing. Like yeah, so but you
Right.
you try and give the negative statistic. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mhm. And you could, I
So
mean, you could do, theoretically, you could do that with this too.
right, yeah. Yeah, it's like because with this article here, you could say if you're trying to give the positive statistics, right? You could say carjackings are down 53% since 2023 peak. Sure, that makes it sound
Yeah.
positive. But if you wanted to spin it in a negative way and not lie, right? You could still say there were 216 carjackings in DC in 2024. It's like I'm throwing out a number, by the way. I don't know if that's the
Yeah,
exact
no.
number, but if it's still 53% lower than what it was last year, then you're telling the truth, but you're making it sound a lot worse by saying that there were 216 carjackings. You're not I mean, you're still telling the truth both ways, but it's the way that you're
I
spinning
mean,
that
you could
number.
all. Yeah, I mean, you could spin it. You could even say you don't even have to say 2023 P. You could be like it's down 53%
Right,
because you could say because of this administration.
right,
You could spin it that way.
right. But in this case, he's not going to do that because
No,
he wants to justify this action by
right,
saying that the
exactly.
crime rate is higher than ever, which, like
Yeah,
I'm saying, is a lie. I mean, it's just straight up
mhm.
not true.
Yeah, he's
But
spinning the narrative.
yeah, correct.
But why?
It's
But why? But why?
but why? Well,
I have an idea.
um, oh, go
Yeah,
for it. Go for it.
So, if this has already been mentioned, I apologize. But look at with the protests, riots, whatever you want to call them in LA.
Hmm.
Deployed the National Guard. LA,
Hmm.
very democratic. Gavin Newsom, very democratic. Washington, D.C., uh, very democratic mayor. Very historically kind of blue area. How much of a win would it be for him to be able to go, look, I cleaned up these Democrat run cities
that's a good
because
point.
they can't do it. So
Right.
no matter how this goes, at least in
He'll,
his mind
yeah,
and Republican minds, he wins. It's either, well, the Democrats can't run cities because look at all the crime, or it's I cleaned up the Democratic run cities,
Mhm.
no more crime.
And the Democrats didn't want me to clean up the crime. They kicked me out. They wouldn't let me have the National Guard here, and now look at them. He could go that route too.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that he's a master of these types of scenarios where,
He gets you in that lose-lose situation.
right, if like, and that's the thing is that, and that's kind of why we do this podcast, and it's a lot of people don't take the time to actually, read behind the first page or the first headline of an article. They just see these things and they go, "Oh shoot, that sounds good. Oh shoot, that doesn't sound good." And immediately they form their judgments directly based upon that first inherent opinion upon what they see. So, this is why we do these episodes to try and get people to kind of dig behind the curtains just a little bit more, kind of dig a little bit deeper for that information. And, if you see an article that just says, all the way up to the top here, if it just says understanding the federal takeover of DC police, just read the article. And I know what it says all the way at the top is scary for some people. A 21-minute read. It's very scary. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. I can think of a lot of things that you've done. Yeah, I'm listening to you. I'm looking right at you in the audience that you've done for 21 minutes.
I'm also now
Go
looking at
read
you.
an article. Go read an article. But yeah. Anyways,
Hey, be
if
nice
we're
to our
gonna,
audience, Brian.
no, no, they need to learn.
Oh yes, but
No, they need to learn.
baby steps, Brian. Baby steps. Maybe 10-minute article.
We're on episode 24, Jake. There are no
I
more
know.
baby steps.
I know. It's true.
Uh, but yeah, so I really think that it's just it I've told people this, off the air and kind of when I've been talking in private with individuals. I think if it sticks to DC, it's not that big of a deal.
Hmm.
As much as I hate to say that, I don't think it's going to be a big, you know, people are going to lose their mind. There's going to be riots on the street. There's going to be mass protests, everything like that. I don't think it's going to be that way if it stays to DC.
Yeah,
Now,
Um,
he's
this
also, go ahead.
it feels like this is once again him testing the waters to see what he can get away with. He already did it in California. and
Correct.
realistically, thus far has gotten away with it. I think that's still going through the courts,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
as of this moment, he's kind of gotten away with it.
Right.
I am
Right.
of the opinion, keyword there, that assuming for some reason this doesn't blow up in his face, he will just keep going. Looking at you, Chicago, or
I've s-
New York with Mamdani being
Mm.
a big candidate there. That's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
be real interesting if Trump tries to go in there and be like, "Well, gonna clean up crime here now. What are you gonna do about it?" That's gonna
Mhm.
be a real interesting thing. I think this is him testing the waters, and it's probably, unless it fails spectacularly for some reason, probably not
Will
the last
Will we
we're gonna
see
see.
riots or like
Correct.
protests?
Um,
Not riots.
yeah,
Bad
I,
word.
I, I think
Protests.
you, I think you will. If he goes to more cities, um, with this justification, I think you will. Especially in
Regardless of
Chicago.
outcome. Regardless if this works
Yeah,
to quote unquote clean up the
regard
crime.
correct. Regardless of if it works or not.
Is this just
I,
another war on crime, war on drugs type deal?
I think this is different because that was tackled via legislation and systemic change throughout the United States over years. This is all going on quite rapidly. I mean, by comparison, you know what I mean? And this
Yeah.
is like this is advanced executive control over federal militarized police forces or troops. Like the war on crime was like a decades long process where they tried to reform the criminal justice system and by
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
accounts failed miserably.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
so but I think one of the things that could be real tricky if he for some reason tries to mobilize the National Guard in um California, or not California, Chicago, to try and get the Texas Democrats back to Texas. um that I could see sparking a lot of controversy,
Oh yeah.
and probably some of the bigger mass protests that you've seen in a while. um
Hmm.
But yeah, I know it was New York, Chicago, Boston. He rattled off a bunch of democratically run cities, which is it's
Well, there's a
crazy
couple
because
in that article right there that you happen to have right up: Chicago, Oakland, and Baltimore
Oakland.
for a
oh yeah,
couple.
yeah, Oakland, Baltimore. Yeah. Where is that? Oh yeah, right here. Yep. Now, you know, if I'm gonna be that guy, I'm pretty sure like Memphis, Tennessee
Oh
has one of
yeah.
the worst crime rates in America.
Oh yeah.
So why, you
Baltimore's
know,
number one, I think. But yeah,
and
yeah.
but that's the thing. That's the thing with
Memphis is
Baltimore, though. I've
huge.
seen a lot of statistics that the mayor there. I mean, if you want to give the mayor the credit, that the Baltimore's crime rates have nosedived in the last 2 years since he's taken
Oh,
office.
I'm
Like
and
like
I'm sure.
like I'm not even sure if Baltimore's in the top 5 anymore.
Hmm.
Like, cause you're right. Baltimore
Really,
used to
that
be
far?
really, yeah. I like you can like let's look that up. Let's see
Are we looking?
highest.
We're looking at violent crime, correct?
Yeah, highest violent crime per capita U.S. cities. Always do per capita, kids. Um, so which states or which cities have the highest murder rates? Okay, so Baltimore, if you're going by murder, yes, it's still top 5. It is number 3. So it's
Okay.
Memphis, Tennessee, St. Louis, Missouri,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Baltimore, Maryland, Washington D.C., Birmingham, Alabama. So let's just say
Hmm.
I'm looking at this is on usafacts.org. I will post this into my thing and I'll share it real quick just so we can look at it
Yeah, I want to look at it.
together.
I'm curious.
Yeah. Yep. Share this tab instead. All right. All right. So here we go. Now you can see the total homicides and the per capita. And the per capita matters because obviously you're adjusting that for population. Um, but yeah, so Memphis, Tennessee, far and away, then St. Louis, then Baltimore, then Washington D.C., Birmingham, Virginia Beach, like so on and so forth. So realistically, though, I mean, if you're going to go off of the 2024 election, Republican state, Republican state, Democrat state, not a state, but heavily Democratic area. Um, Republican state, Democrat state, Republican state, Democrat state, Republican state, Republican state, Democrat state, Republican state, Republican state, Democrat state, Republican state. It it's like there's not a huge correlation with politics here. The thing is like, cities have more crime because
Yep.
in inner cities you get more people together and you get higher tension between people struggling for a finite amount of resources, and people are going to do desperate things because they're desperate people. That's it's pretty simple to figure out why that happens.
And a lot of there's a lot more like gang violence too in cities.
Correct. More organized crime.
More
Correct.
organized crime. Yeah.
Yes, yes. It's much easier to organize a gang in Baltimore than it is to organize a gang in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania with the Amish. Now the Amish mafia I think is a real thing, but
They
it's
are.
a
It
little
is, but I don't know how prevalent they are still.
yeah,
I don't know. I don't
but
want to go out in rural Pennsylvania.
why not? It's actually pretty up there, especially if you go into the northwestern part of the state.
Yeah, but there's no. I just worry about cell service and make sure I'm getting. What if my car breaks down?
Jake's like, I hate being connected to the world outside, but if I lose my cell service, I'm it's over.
As long as I can call like for help, I'll be all right.
So so if we scroll down a little bit more, you can see like it's Jackson, Mississippi, New Orleans, Louisiana, Little Rock, Arkansas, Baton Rouge. So, you know, I mean,
I've seen too many
Jackson,
movies.
Jackson, Mississippi is, I believe, the highest homicide rate in a medium-sized metro. Then New
Yeah,
Orleans
Cole,
is
you
up
can
there.
talk about Jackson.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's oh hey, Dayton made the list. Woo!
Heyo.
Ew.
Nice. Toledo's on there too.
Is it?
Yep.
Hell yeah! Look at us go. Go Ohio.
It's
But
at
at
the
least we're
bottom.
on the low part of the list.
Yeah. You know what's not on
But
there? Cleveland.
Cleveland. Actually, that's kind of crazy that Cleveland's not. Good job, Cleveland.
Not crazy. Not crazy. Cleveland slept on.
Oh, I'm not saying Cleveland slept on. It's just the fact that it's like the fact that it's
Columbus is
just
not on there either.
yeah. Good job, Ohio.
Yeah,
Good job, Ohio.
all
Yeah,
right.
none of the big C's. None of the three C's.
True, yeah, it's true.
Eh,
Cincinnati's not on there either.
But but you're kind of seeing the point that like this is a very false narrative, and the fact that like you're not you're not getting a ton of large cities here that are
Holy
one way or the other. Like they're not like all Democrat. They're not all Republican. Like sure, you can say that a lot of times Democrats run large cities, sure. But that's the thing is that like this is happening in Republican and Democrat runs like states. And I believe so let's see is Oakland? Nope, that's Detroit. So, let's see, where's Chicago at? So Chicago is 15.8, right?
Yeah.
So that's not high. Baltimore is the high one at 36 or yeah, 36.3. What was the other one on that list that we had? Oakland, but Oakland would probably be in like one of the moderate sized cities. Let's see. That's Stockton. Is Stockland close to Oakland? But either way, if it is, then yeah, I mean that's 10. That's a extremely low number. So yeah, I mean it's weird to me that they're not going to New Orleans or to Jackson.
And I will
They're not
say,
going to Memphis. They're not going to St. Louis, you know.
this is reported homicides. These are homicides that we know of
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
because a
So
lot of that
reported murders.
I don't
Yes.
know the exact number of violent crimes / homicides that go unreported or like
Yeah,
yeah, I
unreported.
don't know. Like yeah, but but people would die, so you would think you'd find the body and they'd all be reported, but I don't know of the ones that are out there, you just don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that I'm not murdering anybody. So
That's what a
I won't
murderer
have
would
to.
say.
Wow. Wow, that's rude.
I'm just kidding.
But all right. Well, before we wrap up this one here, is there anything you guys kind of want to add into this before we go into the tariff aspect of it, or not aspect of that, but tariff portion of the episode? I know we were kind of already at 40 minutes in. We we slammed this one for
No,
35 minutes.
it's just interesting. It's new. We'll have to. It's not new, but it's new in today's world. So we're gonna have to
Yeah,
just kind of keep an eye on it.
I have a feeling this is not going to be the end of the saga. Just kind of like the
No,
tariffs thing. I mean, there's been so many news stories with this administration since January 21st that have come up and just never gone away. Like nothing. I feel like has a lot. Have many things been resolved, like for good
no.
or
I
for
feel like
bad?
there's so much. I feel like there's a lot of just open things out there that are just kind of getting
Uh,
swept under the rug because something else is coming up.
right, exactly. Like all the Epstein stuff is still out there.
Oh
Like the
yeah, God,
Doge
I forgot
cuts.
about. See, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
And
about
you
the.
forgot. Like I think that's part of this too. And I'm not. You know, I've already made my statements that I
Oh,
think
this is your
that Trump is
conspiracy
involved in the.
theory.
Yeah. But I mean, realistically, if you want to, you know, control the narrative, you sometimes have to make up a new one. And by making
No,
up a new one,
100%.
you get
It's
people to stop
distraction.
talking. Yeah, it's all it is a distraction.
The
So
magicians, man. That's how they
yeah.
trick you.
Ooh, look at the cat. Look at the hat. And then you just
Yeah, look at
take
the hat.
yeah.
Oh, I just took your
Yeah.
watch and your wallet,
Yeah, exactly, and it's gone. And you have no money.
and it's
And
gone.
it's gone. Uh, but I saw you unmute your mic, Zachary. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that everything's a distraction. There's just so much out there that, and part of just the way the mainstream media is, like you gotta just keep on with what's hot. So a week later, when something's not hot because something else has happened, the media doesn't cover it anymore. So
Correct.
that's
Yep.
just the world we live in,
It's just the way the cookie
and
crumbles.
it's
And
stupid.
Hmm.
if you're passionate about something and you want to see like change, don't like let things distract you. Just keep pushing towards your goal.
It's true. Jake coming in with the
Words of wisdom.
inspiration.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cole
I'm
said
not.
I probably could. No, Cole, you should come on and be a witness, like or a lead expert on Jackson, Mississippi.
He could. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know about an expert. He hasn't been down there his whole life, but he could probably tell you a good bit.
All right. So we will go ahead and crack into tariffs. We'll cover this for probably about 10 minutes and then we'll leave 5 minutes to wrap up the episode.
You know,
So,
I'd be curious to see what just the political climate is like in Jackson, Mississippi.
uh, I'll take 5 seconds. I just want to see Jackson, Mississippi 2024 election results. I just want to see, like, is it technically a blue city or did it, I think it
I
isn't
think
yet.
it's.
See, Jackson, so Hines County, oh wow, it's the tale of two rivers. So on the western side of the river, it was Harris 73%, Trump 25%. On the east side of the river, it was Trump 72%, Harris 26%. That's crazy.
It is kind of crazy.
All right. Well, anywho,
Hmm.
so yeah, so
Interesting.
on to tariffs. So we have now hit the highest tariff rate officially on average since 1934, according to Yale. Um, and yeah, you're seeing, you know, steel prices, steel tariffs, 50%. Chinese goods on certain goods up to 100%. Some cars 25%. And obviously, you know, kind of what we were talking about earlier, like those cars are going to be delivered next year. Like they're making the 26 model of car now. Those won't be on the lot until next year. Same thing with 27 cars. Like those won't be on the lot until later next year. So a lot of those prices, it'll take a second for them to carry over. Kind of like what Zachary was saying earlier, especially if they've got a supply of cars already. They're not going to jack up the prices. They're going to try and sell as much as they can before they have to jack up the prices because they know the demand's going to shock to the downside. And just kind of going and like hear me out on this too. So I think
I'll hear you.
a lot of businesses are seeing the writing on the wall,
Hmm.
and for the longest time, like like post COVID, right? We had this huge boom in hiring. Like everybody was getting a job. Like the job market was hotter than hell, right? It was like
Hmm.
you could throw a dart at the wall and get like 6 job applications or 6 resumes.
It's
Like
true.
yeah, 6 job offers. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard from quite a few people where they'll apply for like 50 to 75 jobs and maybe get one interview, maybe. It's like the job market is like stopped. It's absolutely halted. So I feel like there's a lot of businesses right now, especially with all this tariff stuff going on, that they've reached the point where they're like, we're going to have to make a tough decision real quick here.
And it's not due to not lack of needing people. They need people.
Right. But if there's a bunch of economic uncertainty, they're not going to
Right.
hire people.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're getting is the fact that like these companies are they can't keep going back and forth with this, with it's like, oh, we're having tariffs, we're not having tariffs. So I think that now that people are seeing that there's going to be some form of tariffs that are going to be put into effect, you're going to see companies do one of two things. They're either going to have to raise prices to keep up with the tariffs to make sure that they don't lose their bottom line, or they're going to have to lay people off
Yeah.
because the
I
most I was going to say most in most businesses the number one expenditure is labor. So if you're running out of money and your budgets and your bottom line's getting cut into, fire a few people, and that helps buffer it a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Um, I know the former company that I work for, I think just did some layoffs. So nothing
That's
crazy, but
yeah.
I've heard there's
That's
more on the way. So
yeah. Yeah, and it's especially scary for those people in like Medicare, Medicaid too that work for those companies. Or it's going to get it's scary, it's uncertain.
right. I mean, there's a ton of uncertainty with this because, and the thing is so here's the problem with this. So we at the beginning of the show we mentioned that the Federal Reserve is, according to the inflation data that came out today, the statement from Basent that they're probably going to cut rates in September, right? Um, so there's a double-edged sword to that. If you cut rates, you're cutting rates to try and generate more spending, which we remember back in the COVID days, we cut rates down to pretty much zero. Housing prices went through the roof, inflation started to soar, everything like that because we kept rates too low for too long. So
Mhm.
we raised interest rates. Now, if we start to cut interest rates and we start to, if that buying from people who can afford it starts to soar, so you could respark inflation there, and then if the tariffs start to kick in and people start raising prices, you're going to have even more inflation on top of that. And then you could have a scenario where people start to lose their job because they are getting laid off by a company that is not wanting to charge more for the tariffs. So all that stuff is potentially right around the corner. I mean, I've been saying that for a while and I've been wrong for a while, I'll be completely honest with you. But that's one of the things that I'm concerned about is like if we start cutting rates right now, and inflation starts jumping up before the tariff inflation hits, because that's the whole thing with this article. It's like why they haven't hit yet. Like it it
Right.
yeah, how tariffs should fuel inflation. Direct price hits. Like, this can happen. It's all in the supply chain. And like Zachary said, it's like it's slowly working its way through here. But, that's the thing is like this the economy is a very, very slow moving beast. It takes a
Is he
long time to work through things.
is he hoping that eventually that these tariffs will, you know, he'll put these tariffs, or he won't. I don't know. Is he hoping that the I don't even know how to phrase this. I don't know. Come back to me.
We'll come back in 5. No, I mean, so it's tough to say what like he's truly envisioning the tariffs doing. I mean, obviously, I think his if we're going on the preface that he means well, he
Maybe
wants manufacturing to come back to the United States,
I was gonna
right?
say maybe he's trying to like save money in other aspects so he can push the narrative that his tariffs are working. When
Well, and I
in
that's
reality they're not really even in effect to some degree.
right. Well, that's the thing is that they're coming out with these reports saying that tariff revenue has increased like and we're bringing in billions and billions of dollars in tariff revenue. So like there is an impact ongoing. Like there are companies that are having to buy these goods. And I think it is a scenario where it's a lot of the mom and pop shops, a lot of their small medium-sized businesses,
Right.
not a lot of your large ones. But I think that that's these like there are tariffs in effect. Like there has been a general increase in tariffs. It's just it hasn't been pushed to the consumer yet. And I think that
Hmm.
phase one that we're seeing is that the job market has frozen. Like
Right.
there's not a lot of hiring going on anymore right now. The job market has seized up. So that's phase one, right? You've got
Yeah.
the job market seized up, but prices haven't gone up yet because they're still going through old inventory, like Zachary said. Now phase two is they're running out of old inventory and they realize their bottom line's about to get cut into because they're gonna have to raise prices. Phase two, lay people off. Okay? So you're laying
Job
people
market gets
off.
worse.
Job market gets worse. Phase three, the company is forced to raise prices because they are out of all of those goods that they had in their inventory to sell to people. They are
Hmm.
forced to raise prices in order to keep up with the competition of the larger market writ large. Because there are going to be
Hmm.
some companies that are going to do just fine. There are other companies that are going to go bankrupt because of this.
Yeah, they're gonna go out
And then
straight up out of business. Yeah.
so now you've got phase three. The prices have gone up, inflation has gone up, and people have lost their jobs.
And people can't pay for anything. They
And
can't pay
can
to
people
live.
and suddenly it sounds an awful lot like what happened in the Great Depression.
I was gonna say that sounds just like the Great Depression.
And believe it or not, that's what everyone said the Smoot-Hawley tariffs did was cause the Great Depression, and now we've got the highest tariff rate since 1934. History doesn't always repeat itself, but it rhymes, and this is concerning. Because if the Federal Reserve starts to cut interest rates and things get even more expensive, you're going to see exactly what happened in 1929 too. The stock market's going to rip. Everyone's going to be buying stocks for that short period of time when interest rates get
Mhm.
cheaper and they can borrow more money to buy more assets. And then it's all going to collapse when the job market falls apart and inflation keeps going up and you run into stagflation. And then everyone's going to go, oh no, I don't have any more money to buy a can of beans. And suddenly, nobody's going to buy cans of beans. And that one company, Heinz, thought they were really, really well off, suddenly can't sell a can of beans to somebody, and you now have a problem. And then their stock price collapses because of it. So, either way, that's my rant.
No,
Mazel
I
tov.
mean it's
You like
definitely
beans? Love
definitely
beans.
gearing
Big
up
bean
towards
guy.
that trajectory.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And then
either
you
way,
gotta think about the people that coming out of college too.
oh yeah, they're screwed. They're cooked, deep fried.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the episode of SpongeBob where they spray hot oil into the stands and turns everybody into fish sticks. Yep, that's them.
Fish sticks, get your fish sticks.
Well, now that in typical Brian fashion, I leave us on a really high, light, and cheery note at the end.
Like it.
Zachary, do you have anything to to make us feel better about ourselves?
Um, go Reds.
Go
That's it.
Reds! That was a hell of a
That's
win.
that's
Yeah.
all I got.
Oh, I got something.
Oh, go Jake, and then I want
Um
to ask Zachary about something too after that. But go.
I learned that there have been reported cases of spontaneous human combustion
Yeah,
today.
I
I learned that today. I didn't know that. That's crazy
yeah.
to me.
There's been a
And no one
few.
can rule why. No one knows why it happens.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those stories throughout the years, and like I've always kind of wondered what that was. Like,
Yeah, I thought that was just a story people told to scared like people.
nah, I mean, it was just some really, really bad Taco Bell, man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and the weird part about it is a lot of that their leg is still, or like part of their leg is still there.
interesting. Well, I bet that it is probably some sort of like chemical like reaction that happens due to something. It's so abstract, but I'm sure that
It's
like the
so interesting though.
yeah, I'm almost positive though that that chemical reaction would happen somewhere in the center of mass, which is why like it could leave the legs like somewhat, intact, which is
It could be, but
horrifying to think about.
doctors or like or coroners doing the autopsies can't really figure it out.
It's
Like medic,
aliens
it could
when in
be.
doubt,
The probe blew up.
right? Zachary, Hurricane Aaron, or is it Aaron?
Yes, Aaron.
Go, go, go! Tell us all about it.
It's probably not a threat to the U.S. Oh golly gee, she's I think
Are we
supposed
gonna?
to be category 3. I'd probably push 4, but in theory it will curve out to the north and then out into the Atlantic. However, if you are in Bermuda or know people in Bermuda, probably want to pay attention to that one. Let me see this one. Yeah, there you go. Tropical storm Aaron. She vibing
Tropical storm Aaron.
at the moment.
She vibing.
So
So, ooh, well, the most reliable version of the GFS is out right now. If you want to look at that model run.
oh don't tempt me with a good time. Uh,
Let's say we got 2 minutes. Hurry, hurry, hurry! Go, go, go!
Brian, I'm telling you, you got to start ripping packs on stream. Like when we need to fill time
Listen,
at the end, like
we're
right
yeah,
at
we're
the
gonna
end.
we're gonna turn this into just constant breaks through the stream.
yeah, there you go. This is a
Uh,
card that I need to burn.
Burn.
D-
oof.
Yeah, yeah. He likes the children. He likes he would definitely go to Epstein's Island. Let's put it that way.
God damn.
All
Yeah.
right.
So
Here is your GFS. Down here is Aaron currently with a little low pressure,
look at her go.
and away we go.
How's Jerry doing?
And there it goes.
Jerry Mandarin.
Whee.
Zooming on out of there. Over into the
Oh,
UK eventually. Yoink.
oh, that'll be fun.
But it gets pretty
Yeah, it looks like a nice
Yeah.
hurricane.
pretty fun, but yeah, not looking like a threat to the US at the moment. So
Big fish storm so far.
correct.
I know we looked at tropical tidbits last week. Do you know
Also
if the satellite imageries, if they've got the satellite imagery on Aaron yet? I would assume so.
I would also assume so.
Look at that. They got a
She,
YouTube video on it.
right there.
Look at her. She's adorable.
I can actually, if we
That
want to,
could kill people.
if we want to,
It's not killing people right now, Jake.
Yeah,
Give
but it
my
could.
computer a stroke real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just hold on a minute. I can do
What's a
you
little
better
processing
one.
power among friends?
I'll just go on the edge of the world and yell at the storm to stop.
Just fan. Well, it was like the memes a few years ago when the hurricanes were heading towards Florida, and people were just like, "Oh yeah, just take your fan out and point it towards the."
Oh look, you
I
can
forgot
actually see
about
this.
that.
There it is.
Yeah,
You guys can't see it, but the stream can.
I can't.
I can't see it.
Oh, yep.
Just rest assured.
Oh,
There
it's the Goes
there,
East satellite. Yeah, I see it now.
there she blows.
Look at that.
She
Huh.
just chilling. And I don't know.
That's cool though.
think
That is cool.
tropical is in here somewhere now. Or not. Tropical cyclone. That's formation. Okay. Well, I don't know where that crap's at, so satellite it is.
Hmm.
Hurricane warnings out here in the ocean.
Hmm.
Off of yeah. But there's probably another system that's going to end up behind it, and we'll see where that goes.
People were saying hurricane season was a bust. It just needed to get woken up.
Yeah.
It said, you were saying.
What
Yeah,
is that?
people always got to tempt Mother Nature, man. They always got to poke the bear.
Yeah,
This
that's
is
true.
old.
I literally poked the bear last night. I was fixing something
Oh,
at the house outside, and I'm like, "Oh, it hasn't rained in a few days," and it immediately started pouring rain as soon as I go outside.
I thought you were saying that there was a bear up in northeastern Ohio because you said you literally poked the bear, and I was like, Jake, what?
Oh
What?
no, I meant like in the sense that you were talking about.
Okay, that's good. It's like Jesus, dude.
I would
Uh,
totally poke a bear. Bears are cool.
bears are cool. Black bears are, fun
They're
size. Not
still a
as fun
bear.
size as but not as fun sized as sun bears though. Oh,
Some bears are goofy as hell.
that's a nice hot tower right there.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Alrighty, well, that concludes another episode of the Neutral News Network. We greatly appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. Obviously a lot going on in the news. We're gonna keep trying to come here every single week to give you some updates. Outside of that, it would be great if you guys could like, comment, subscribe, and share this with your friends.
Share it with
Obviously,
one friend. One.
just one friend, just one. But they have to subscribe. If they don't subscribe, it doesn't count. So
Yeah, just
you
log into
have
their account. And
Yeah, there you go.
subscribe.
There you go. Correct. For legal reasons, don't do anything that'll get you or I or anyone else in jail. Yeah. All right. So with that, we greatly appreciate you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.